Have you ever noticed how some people constantly explain themselves to others who don't even care about them? Are you tired of trying to gain respect from people who consistently undervalue your worth? Do you find yourself desperately holding on to relationships that only drain your energy and give nothing in return? Today, I'm going to show you why sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to simply disappear without explanation. These 7 powerful Stoic principles will completely transform how you handle disrespect, manipulation, and underappreciation in your life. Stay with me until the end of this video, because if you apply each of these lessons in practice, you'll become emotionally unshakable, deeply respected, and most importantly, free. Stoicism isn't just beautiful theory, it's practical action, mental strength, and self-mastery. And if there's one thing the great Stoic masters taught us, it's that those who know their own value don't beg for attention, force connections, or plead for respect. Today, we're going straight to the heart of the matter. You'll understand why strategic withdrawal is one of the most powerful weapons in the Stoic arsenal. You'll learn how to apply this wisdom without hatred or drama, but with dignity and self-respect. And you'll discover that when you remove yourself without explanation, you completely change the game. So take a deep breath, release the weight of unnecessary justifications, and join me in discovering how to become unshakable, respected, and internally protected by following the principles of the greatest Stoic masters. Our first lesson begins right now, and you won't want to miss it. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. This helps me continue bringing valuable content like this to you. More importantly, it ensures you won't miss any powerful lessons on Stoicism and personal development. Now, let's get to what truly matters. Lesson number 1. Disappear without explanation. If you seek respect, the first step isn't to speak louder, it's to withdraw. It's not about shouting, it's about silence. It's not about explaining yourself, it's about stopping the attempt altogether. This first Stoic lesson is simple yet powerful. When you notice you're being underestimated, ignored, or disrespected, the strongest move is to distance yourself without providing justifications. True respect comes from the recognition of your value, not from your insistence upon it. In practice, this means cutting out excessive explanations. Stop sending long messages trying to justify yourself. Stop appearing where you're not welcome. Don't involve yourself in social circles where you're only remembered when someone needs something from you. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our worth doesn't depend on others' opinions, but on our own conduct. And firm conduct requires clear boundaries. Choose a situation where you felt the constant need to explain yourself. It could be a group of friends, a work environment, or even a family relationship. For the next 7 days, don't justify yourself. Don't try to please others, just fulfill what's necessary with firmness and silence. Observe how people react when you stop giving your energy away freely. Disappearing isn't running away, it's protection. When you distance yourself silently, without drama or explanations, you return to the other person the responsibility to reflect on their own behavior. More importantly, you become the center of your own life again. This is self-control. This is practical wisdom. This is living Stoicism. Don't worry if some people are bothered by your silence. They were accustomed to your excess, and your absence will hurt. But that pain isn't yours to bear. Your mission is to maintain peace, not to beg for it. Lesson number 2. Those who know their worth don't explain themselves. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. This second Stoic lesson is clear. Those who are conscious of their own value don't spend their lives trying to convince others of it. The truth is, the more you try to justify yourself, the more insecurity you convey. And respect doesn't grow from explanation. It grows from posture and presence. In practice, this means stopping self-sabotage with phrases like, "Sorry, that's just how I am," or "I just wanted you to understand my side." You don't need to do this. People who truly respect you will perceive who you are by how you act, not by how much you try to explain yourself. The Stoic lives based on virtue, not on external validation. Here's a practical exercise during this week. Every time you feel the urge to justify yourself, take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I explaining because it's right, or because I want to be accepted? If it's the latter, remain silent. Simply do what's right with dignity. Don't tell, show. Don't shout, act. This subtle shift will make you be seen in a completely new way. Understand that you don't need to waste energy trying to fit in places that don't recognize your essence. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the greatest strength lies in serenity, and nothing is more serene than living in peace with your truth, even if the world doesn't understand it. Those who need you to justify yourself all the time are actually just trying to control you. Now that you understand the power of not explaining yourself, the next lesson will challenge you even more. Lesson number 3. When you disappear, silence speaks for you. Sometimes the greatest demonstration of strength isn't in saying something, but in simply disappearing. Silence is an answer. Absence is a statement. When you cut contact without warnings, without justifications, without scenes, the impact is profound. Stoicism teaches that strategic withdrawal is a way to preserve your own dignity and often the only path to being taken seriously. In practice, think of someone you've tried to please, insisted on, explained yourself to, and given your all to, and nothing changed. Now imagine yourself disappearing without warning, without passive-aggressive hints, without hatred, just disappearing with self-respect. This withdrawal changes everything because people only miss what truly had presence, and only recognize in absence what they were always accustomed to having for free. From today on, choose to withdraw when you're not respected. This isn't pride, it's wisdom. Cut the excess of presence, remove access, and observe how silence reorganizes people's priorities. What was banal becomes missed. What was ignored becomes longed for. Your withdrawal is a reminder that you're not available for crumbs. Think of a connection that drains you, a place, a conversation, a relationship. For 7 days, disappear. Don't send messages, don't like stories, don't react, just disappear. See what happens, and more importantly, see how you feel. You'll realize that silence cleanses, heals, strengthens, and also reveals. And if this message is making sense to you, if these Stoic lessons are touching something deep inside, then it's time to take another step. Subscribe to this channel right now, activate the notification bell. This helps me continue bringing this content with depth, without superficiality, and helps you walk with an increasingly stronger mind. Lesson number 4, stop seeking external validation. You need to stop waiting for others to recognize who you are. This 4th Stoic lesson is about self-reliance. Self-confidence isn't begged for, it's built from within. The constant need for applause, acceptance, and praise keeps you trapped. It's a golden prison. It shines on the outside but corrodes you from within. Stoicism breaks these chains. The approval of others is inconsistent, fragile, unstable. One day you're loved, the next forgotten. One day you're exalted, the next criticized. Living on this emotional seesaw means giving up your peace. And Stoicism is, above all, a philosophy of inner peace. That's why you need to understand your opinion about yourself should weigh more than any applause. Want a practical exercise? Write a list of your 5 greatest qualities. Not what others say, but what you know you are. Then note 3 achievements that nobody valued but were significant for you. Keep this. Read it whenever you feel the need to be seen. because true respect begins when you stop begging for it. No longer depend on the like, the congratulations, the I'm proud of you. Depend on your clear conscience, your silent effort, your invisible progress, and especially your ability to stay firm even when no one notices. Now that you're learning to emotionally shield yourself against the need for recognition, get ready. In our next lesson, we'll talk about how to handle criticism without becoming destabilized and how to transform each attack into fuel to grow even more. It's time to completely turn the game around. Lesson number 5, don't respond to the wounded ego. You don't need to counter everything. Not everyone who attacks you is actually speaking to you. Sometimes they're speaking to their own traumas. This 5th Stoic lesson is clear. When the ego is wounded, the temptation is to respond with pride, but the wise respond with silence or elevation. You know that urge to prove you're right, to show you're not weak, to give back in the same coin. That doesn't come from reason. It comes from the wounded ego. And if you act based on that, you lower yourself to the level of whoever attacked you. The Stoic understands that responding to the wounded ego is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The next time someone tries to diminish you with sarcasm, mockery, or insinuation, don't react on impulse. Breathe, smile if you can, and say something that shows control, not weakness. Something like, I understand your point. Or, I'll think about that. Just that. You lose nothing and show everything. This self-control is worth gold, because when you set ego aside, you act with strategy. And the respect born from this is much greater than any angry response could generate. You don't need to win an argument. You need to win over yourself. And now that you've learned to be quiet when everything within you wants to shout, you're ready for one of the most liberating lessons in Stoicism. Lesson number 6, forgive in silence and move forward without looking back. Not every cycle ends with an I'm sorry, and it's all right. This 6th Stoic lesson is a blow of maturity. You don't need to wait for others' remorse to free yourself from within. The Stoic understands that forgiving isn't giving reason. It's releasing the weight. It's stopping the reliving of the same pain while waiting for an ending that will never come. How many times have you been stuck in the past, ruminating over hurts, waiting for that, I'm sorry, that explanation, that recognition? Now stop and think, what changed? Only time passed, and you kept carrying an invisible chain. Stoicism invites you to cut this chain with courage, with clarity, with compassion, not for whoever hurt you, but for yourself. In practice, choose a situation that still weighs on your heart, a disappointment, a betrayal, an injustice. Write down the name of the person involved. Then write, I choose to release this pain, not for them, but for me. Burn this paper. Let the symbolism do the work. The important thing here isn't the other person. It's the lightness you decide to feel from now on. Forgiving in silence is a Stoic act. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to seek reconciliation. You don't need an audience. Just forgive and move on. The silence of forgiveness is more powerful than 1,000 discussions. And time shows sooner or later who really lost something. In our next lesson, we'll talk about how to protect your emotional energy from toxic environments and people, and create a kind of internal shield that prevents you from being affected by external negativity. If this has happened to you, prepare your heart. I'll meet you in the next one. Lesson number 7, protect your energy like a warrior protects his armor. Not every place deserves your presence. Not every conversation deserves your attention. This 7th Stoic lesson is about shielding your mind against toxic environments and draining people. The Stoic doesn't expose himself to chaos out of curiosity. He knows that inner peace has a price and defends it as one would defend their own life. Stop forcing yourself to be where you feel bad. You know that circle of conversation that always ends in gossip, complaints, or competition. That work environment where everything seems to drain you. That presence that leaves you tired even without saying a word. The Stoic feels this and withdraws, not out of arrogance, but out of self-preservation. Write a list of 3 environments or people that emotionally drain you. Now, for each one, define a clear boundary. It could be reducing the time spent together, changing the tone of conversations, or even distancing yourself completely. This isn't being cold, it's being responsible with your mental health. Shielding your energy also means choosing what enters your mind. Stop consuming news that only generates fear. Stop following profiles that make you compare yourself and diminish your worth. Feed your soul with what strengthens you, not with what makes you doubt your value. The Stoic mind is selective, and therefore it is firm. If you've made it this far, I want to genuinely congratulate you. Few people have the courage to face themselves, seek deep knowledge, and commit to their own evolution. But you're doing this, and just the fact that you've watched until the end already shows that you're one step ahead, firm on the path to becoming someone stronger, more conscious, and more emotionally shielded. Now I want to hear from you what impacted you most in this video. Which of these Stoic lessons will you apply today? Tell me in the comments. And if you don't want to write much, just type, "I am grateful." So I'll know you watched until the end and are with me on this journey of growth. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the moment. Click the subscribe button, activate the notification bell. This greatly strengthens the channel and ensures we continue bringing deep content like this without filler, without superficiality. And don't leave yet. I'll leave one video here on the screen with more Stoic wisdom to help you continue this transformation you've already begun. Click on it, dive deep, and remember you're not alone. We're together on this journey of building a strong mind and a life that no one can shake.